I got to build 3 of the official lots that come in the new Growing Together world, and this was like the coolest experience of my life, and I'm really proud of what I built, but we had a few restrictions during that building process that made it kind of difficult to make them. So for example, we couldn't use any cheats. Things like the move objects cheat was obviously off limits, but we couldn't even do stuff like alt placing to freely rotate and freely place items. And because I build so much in this game, those things are kind of like second nature to me. To be honest, I just alt place everything without even thinking about it. So when I was doing these builds, I had to try really hard to unlearn that habit. But now the game is actually out, the builds are finished, they've been released, and I kind of want to go back and renovate my own work. I would also really love to clutter up the builds a little bit better with some move objects cheats, but today I want to start with the starter home and attempt to give that one a slight upgrade. I actually just made an entire video on the process of building these lots from scratch, so if you want to see the behind the scenes process and like what goes into building an official EA lot, I can link that down below for you. But this is the starter home that I made. As you can see, it's obviously not like too fancy on the outside because we didn't have a ton of money to work with. In the end, this lot costs just under 22,000 simoleons if you count like the price of the house and the cost of the lot. So it's what they call a starter home plus. Basically, it's like a 2-sim starter home because 1 sim starts with 20,000 simoleons and 2 sims start with 22,000 simoleons. And the goal with this house was to make it really big. They kind of wanted it to be a 3 or 4 bedroom starter, and I really loved the idea of making a big starter home because I feel like we don't have a lot of houses that are cheap and easy to grow into in this game. You could move here into this house from cast with 5 sims and they'd all have a bedroom straight away, which isn't really something that you can do with most of the houses in the game. And it's really nice to have all this space because this is pretty bare bones, but as you earn money and as you're playing the game, you could maybe buy some more kitchen counters, you could upgrade the toilet, you could get a better bed. Maybe once you've got some money, you could build like a backyard and put a tree house over here. So there's a lot of room to grow and expand in this house. I think for me, the exterior is the biggest point that's lacking, and also the kitchen, because originally I had wanted to use better counters and more of them, but I really had to cut back on the amount of furniture. I wanted to have 4 chairs, but I could only afford 2. Like, there's a lot of things here that I wish I could have done more of if I had a little bit more money. So I've given myself 10,000 extra simoleons, and I'm gonna let myself use cheats. I want to dig around in debug, which we obviously could not do for the real builds, and I'm gonna try to really upgrade this little house. Okay, step 1, cheats on. I actually originally had this room slightly bigger and a little bit more of a hallway right here. I ended up shrinking it to save a tiny bit of money, and also because I couldn't afford any furniture in this bedroom, I figured it was better to have it be smaller. But now that we're doing some upgrades, I might make it slightly bigger again. I also originally really wanted to use this new chimney item, but I ended up not having enough money. You'll notice that's kind of a theme here with it being a starter home. We couldn't really do that much fancy stuff. Also, when I build houses normally, I like to put columns on all the little edge pieces. I couldn't do this before because I couldn't afford them, but also without move objects, I couldn't have placed them up here. Just that like little extra trim piece I think makes such a huge difference. And honestly, I'm not like obsessed with how this looks. Maybe I could make a fake chimney. I could probably build one with some walls. You know what? I think that looks better. I can use the same stone. Yeah, that just gives you some more to look at outside. Okay, I've been wanting to do this part since like day 1. I would really like to have some more kitchen counters. I'd also like to get some more lights. This is something that was kind of hard for me too with the official builds because normally I'll put these little tiny lights everywhere, but for like object count reasons and in this case budget reasons, they had me lessen the amount of lights that I had. So that was kind of difficult because I'm so used to having like so many lights everywhere. I think I want to get upper cabinets. I feel like that makes a big difference. I could probably scoot these chairs over a little bit too, so there's some more space. These plants are pretty cheap. I wonder if I could hide them underneath the staircase over here. I think that might look kind of nice. Oh, I'm gonna also get some extra chairs. That's a main thing I wanted to do. I might actually just delete this. I really like to put computers in my starter homes. I feel like it's so useful to have a computer in The Sims. I ended up putting a TV instead of a computer in this one, but in an ideal world, I would have liked to have had both. I don't know if I should put a rug here or not. Maybe I could do a rug underneath the dining table, or is that too many rugs? The room's not very big, so so I'm not sure what's the best thing to do. Oh, it's so nice being able to put clutter in this kitchen. It feels so freeing to be able to use move objects to place this stuff. I'm not really sure why this time they said no move objects, because in the past with the official EA builds, they've done like yes move objects, then they went back to no move objects, and they've kind of changed it up. I'm assuming that them saying no move objects this time means that they found that it's just better to not use it for the official builds. But the alt placing thing was the most difficult part for me, because I'm serious, I do that without even thinking about it. Like placing a chair like this, for example, I would grab it and just like immediately try and do something like that. And honestly, I don't even think about it or like realize it, but I alt place everything in this game. I'll even like alt place rugs sometimes. We were allowed to F5 place things, which means placing them on quarter tiles. If you press F5, you can turn on the quarter tile placement, so you can place stuff on the grid in like smaller increments. So that made it a little bit easier. To be honest, I'm not too sure how much I would change about these bedrooms, because I do like this one. I kind of prioritized this infant room because it was the new stuff. I think it would be fun to be able to use some of the new furniture maybe. I used the new desk, but I wonder if we could try to use the new bunk bed too. That looks kind of cool. What color do I use though? Maybe this one with the clouds? It comes in a dinosaur swatch, but I think it's too much to have the dinosaur rug and the dinosaur bed. I do like it, but I feel like I should try and combine them differently. I think the clouds could work. Let's try that. I'm trying not to spend like too much money on this, but I'm almost wondering if I should switch this out and put 2 beds in here and then turn this room into a toddler's room. My thought process originally was to have a kid's room, a sort of generic room that could be a kid or a teen's room, and then an infant room, because I thought if you had a toddler, you could really easily change the infant stuff into toddler stuff, and then these 2 rooms could sort of switch between kid and teen depending on what you needed. But it might be nice to have a dedicated toddler room here. Oh, I could put the friendship bracelet thing. And this is the new toy box. Maybe that would fit in here somewhere. How about that? This might work. I'm struggling with this toddler idea now because I kind of want to use one of the new beds. I just think this is so cute. And we don't have a new toddler bed. We have a new base game toddler bed, but we don't have a new pack toddler bed. I want this to work as maybe a teen's room, but all the ideas that I have, like to add things like these decals, are not really helping with that plan. I like the little decals though. I think that looks cute there. I'm gonna kind of try and hold off though. I feel like we've decorated these rooms nicely. I'm gonna leave this one. This downstairs bedroom probably needs the most help. For one, it could really use a rug. I don't know what color to paint the walls though. Is it dumb to do brown? I mean, I don't think it's bad necessarily, but oh, here's an idea. What if we did the dresser a plant and then I put one of those new bassinets in here? Because that could be kind of useful. And then technically you've got space for an extra sim. I hate to say it, but I would really, really like to have some sort of yard. I kind of want to like make a fenced area, and I can't tell if this is a terrible idea because that spends like all of our money. Okay, well, what if we just fenced in like part of the yard, or if we did it backwards so that there's a fence in the back? I think a fence is a waste of money. How much is the treehouse? 1,200. Oh no. What else do I want on the inside? I would have liked to have had some art. I think this is where debug comes in. I think it's time that we get into debug a little bit here. There's 2 levels to debug. There's the show hidden objects cheat and then the show live edit objects cheat. We want landscaping and decorations if possible. I have to pay for these? The Tooth Fairy certificate costs 5 simoleons. Oh, look at these little owls. I'll put them in here. This is kind of what I was thinking though, because there's a marriage certificate. Oh, mirror's not in the bathroom, sorry. But there's a marriage certificate. There's also a couple of these kids' school drawings. So maybe I'll put a couple of those. This baby keepsake has like a little baby print and there's a couple swatches on it. This one almost looks artsy and it's free. So I might hang up a couple of those. Ah, the bookshelf is so expensive, 580. We do have a bunch of bushes that we can use, so we'll get into the landscaping. I can't decide where to put this marriage certificate or if I should even put it anywhere. There's a couple of things like this. This is fishing lures. We can put that in here. I think I prefer this gallery wall item. That's kind of cuter. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it makes more sense and it kind of fills the wall in more. I kind of want to put a couple toys in here as if the kids were playing in the living room. Oh, that duck is way too expensive. Sorry, we have to use cheaper toys. We have to use the little cheap ones. You know, speaking of little toys, the base game update got a decent amount of little baby stuff. Maybe I could put like one more thing in this room. It really is amazing amazing because you'd think that 10,000 extra simoleons would get us far, but like really it's not that much. I was thinking about this little basket, this cute critter basket. That's only 60, so that could be a cute decor item in here. That leaves us with 599. That's not a lot. We do have these super cute little flowers, so I might try and use these. I could probably put just a couple of them in front of the house. Oh, that actually feels really bright and pretty. We can switch the flower box to be yellow then too. I think these flowers are probably the best of all the debug in the new pack. They're really, really nice. There's some little debug things like these bushes, but I don't really even like them to be honest. So I don't know if I want to use them. Let me place a few of them in case I do choose to use them. Oh, there's this bush, which is maybe a little bit better. That might look nice over here. We can kind of put it in the corner. Maybe another one in the back. Obviously, it wasn't really a priority. I was more concerned about the front looking nice and specifically the inside looking nice. I don't think I like these. Go away. I mean, the treehouse back there does fill in the lot nicely. This is like so small and so silly and probably a waste of money, but I really do kind of want to have a fence. Then we can put maybe like a little patio space over there. I don't know where else to get extra money from. See, I also wanted to like switch the sofa out and I didn't do that. I thought I would use like the nice new sofa instead. That leaves us with 149 simoleons. That's not ideal. Maybe the treehouse is a no-go. Maybe the treehouse is too expensive. I say as I replace it with a fence, as if that's a better use of the money at all. It might be though, because if we had a fence, it makes the yard look kind of finished. Maybe? I came into this thinking it would be so easy. I was like, it's gonna be so simple. We're gonna have all this money. We'll get to add all these things to the house. Nope. Somehow even 10,000 is not enough. Oh, the kids' bikes are so cheap. That's only 100 simoleons. Okay, we can definitely use that then. Oh, I'm 6 simoleons off. Can I cheat for it? I think I should be allowed to cheat for it. I want the extra 6 simoleons to place a second one of these, okay? I'm not asking for a lot. I just want a couple planter boxes. All right, how about that? 29,480 for a slight upgrade of the starter home that I built for the pack. I actually did a lot less with the living space than I thought I would. There's a couple expensive things like buying all these new counters and cabinets, obviously buying the computer. This bedroom probably needed the most help because it was so empty. It was kind of fun to redo the kids' rooms just because we could afford some more stuff for them. And then obviously the outside had nothing. So any amount of extra for the outside is probably good. But I'm happy with this. I really like how the house looks. I'm really, really proud of it. It took me so long to make this. I kind of mentioned it in the video that I made on the behind the scenes stuff, but I built and bulldozed and rebuilt this starter home like 20 times probably. I really, really wanted it to be good and like useful for you all to play in when you first start and load up the game. So I hope that I achieved that. I hope that you like it. This version only uses the base game and the new pack as well. So if you wanted to download it, I'll put it on the gallery. And if you're curious about any other growing together stuff, I've been posting loads of content with the pack this week. I'm currently working on building a rec center from scratch, which is probably gonna take me a long time because the lot is huge. It's a 64 by 64 lot. So stay tuned for that build. I'll post it as soon as it's done. And on that note, I'm probably gonna end this video right here. So thank you so much for watching. Have the best rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye, everybody. I'm just about to attempt to get rich quick with puzzles, so wish me luck. I'll post that video in a couple days too. I don't actually know how lucrative puzzles are, but I'll try.